being in the restaurant business, we find it takes very little effort to make a good impact. Just even an important impact without being too overly generous. But it's things like smiles. It can make somebody's day. Just taking a moment to ask them how they are. So I think that restaurant training teaches you to just do your best to make just a small impact. And then sometimes that leads to larger impacts. My name is Cathy Morelli. I'm married to Jerry, and he and his parents started Augustino's 44 years ago.
We started life as an Italian 7-Eleven, a little grocery store, groceries, some canned goods, some frozen products. Father and I would make sandwiches, and my mother was the cashier. Every day we sold more sandwiches, and slowly we got rid of the groceries. Lines would be out the door, people waiting to get our sandwiches.
We came to this location, which is now referred to as the Mothership, in 1987. We then abandoned all hopes of being an Italian delicatessen or grocery store and moved straight into being a strong deli.
My father had kind of a musical background. In addition to being able to do everything, he was also a musician. So when he was in the Army, he was in Korea. And he was in, the division he was in was Special Services. And they put on USO shows. Music was always a passion of his. So most of the stuff you see in the room, he collected. That was kind of his brainchild. It sounded kind of funny in the beginning, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
My father-in-law has always been, what you see is what you get. Anytime anything is broken in the restaurant, we always called him the highest paid maintenance man on the property, because he carries around all his tools, but he carries them in a plastic Augie shopping bag. He's always grabbing somebody and saying, come on, here, you do this, I'll show you how. So the each one teach one, but from the top on down, just the most authentic guy. As all good relationships morph, you just know that this business is his and his family's life. And my first job happened to be as a busgirl at 16 years old. I did work in human resources, so as businesses grow, they need a little bit more behind the scenes help. Math is my least favorite subject, but I took over the books, and I always tell my girls, be careful what you think you're never gonna do and never gonna need, because I hated math and now I do it every day. The thing I love is the creative aspect. I get to do all the posters and all the fun marketing stuff. So it's so fun to come up with theme, Rocktoberfest, beer, pretzels, and then just run it for a limited time, because people still go back to the standards at Augustino's. They still want the Italian sub, they want the beef. To me, that's the fun side of our business, is that we get to try anything if we want to. When we were at Sears Tower, people were starting to rethink certain things as far as waste and what things we're doing to the earth. And so prior to that, we gave out, people wanted a cup of water, it was a styrofoam cup. It's the cheapest thing you can do. You throw it away, it's not a big financial commitment. Employees grab a drink, we've got to stack styrofoam cups. And I watched a woman come up to the register, and she said she wanted water. I said, you want bottle or tap? And she said, the tap. And I went to hand her a styrofoam cup, and she looked at it. And then she picked up the bottle of water, and I watched her look at it like this was the most, like a Sophie's choice to her. Like, wow, I'm gonna choose the wrong thing and I'm gonna ruin everything. And I couldn't understand it. And I looked at her and she said, the tap is free, but it's a styrofoam cup and they don't go anywhere. And that fascinated me. I knew people were choosing healthier drinks, people were choosing more water, so we started kind of keeping track of how many people were choosing water. And what I realized after we did the math was we were going through 10,000 cups of free water, free cups of water, per location, per month. And when I looked at the fact that we were choosing a styrofoam cup, there was 30,000 styrofoam cups going into the earth. And then I learned they don't go anywhere for 500 years. All right, so if we're gonna give a cup for water, how do we give a healthier cup? Well, there wasn't anything at our distributors. And then what is a healthy cup? Learning what is a healthy cup. You can get a paper cup, but it's lined with petrochemicals. So that's not really a good choice. So then I learned that out in Colorado, there was a company doing things with corn. Didn't have anything to do with ethanol or any of the corn, the fuel stuff. It was the byproduct. So I contacted them and they sent me some samples. And so we started ordering the cups from them. Because they're a more expensive cup, we just charge a nominal fee of 25 cents to cover the cost of the cup. But because we started going through so many of those cups, one of the biggest distributors in the United States is Cisco Foods. They brought them in because we had a volume that we could track. And they said, okay, if you want something brought into Cisco, you have to agree to buy a certain amount. Well, we were well over that volume between the 3 locations. So then we got the cups, and because we could commit to a certain amount of volume, those cups were coming into Cisco, which then made them available for other restaurants to choose. So other restaurants started following. And if we were going to make a commitment to a cup, then we're not going to stop at a cup. So then it just became this incredibly fun project of seeing how far we could go with our disposable items. Where could we get them? So our containers were styrofoam, we stopped that. Our plates were styrofoam, we stopped that. Of course, the silverware was a disaster for a long time, and people begged us to go back because that disintegrates in heat and vinegar and oil dressing. And so people would say, please don't put any silverware in it because it's not going to go anywhere. Products got better as time went on. And so we now have very proud of the fact that all of our disposable products, where there's an earth-friendly option, we have it. And it didn't just stop at that. Eventually, we could get trays. The company that we were doing business with in the very beginning did so well that their products expanded. And so now their products are available to other restaurants. We heard from schools and businesses would say, they would call us and say, where'd you get your cups? Because we want to do that for our office, or our school wants to go earth-friendly with our disposable. Where were your products? How did you get a hold of them? Who distributes them for you? In the very beginning, we gave away kits to kids for Earth Day. Their teachers, all they had to do was call and ask us, and we would put together a kit of these products and little worksheets that we could do, little puzzles and things that we got from the company. I mean, it was just such a fun collaborative effort to get the word out that it just expanded, and I'm beyond proud of the fact that that's what we started in our area in Illinois. When COVID hit, everybody started doing takeout, and suddenly fine dining they're not sending home doggy bags, they're sending home entire meals. And what are they using for that? And things have to be wrapped individually, and everybody's fearful, and it's certainly in the beginning nobody knew anything, so we were afraid of everything. So now you're wrapping your silverware, and everything is wrapped. People are not using wrap straws, but now they're back to using wrap straws. So where you made a commitment not to do something, now you're backwards. The one thing that we had during this whole time is that we knew our products were still, our disposables were still the best that we could get for being earth friendly. So we didn't have to re-educate ourselves. We were already there. So whereas I'm picking up something like everybody else from one place, it might be a styrofoam, with us, it was already earth friendly. And now that all the commitment that everybody was trying to do for creating less trash went backwards with COVID, but at least we knew that we were already ahead of the game as far as doing the best that we could for, if we're going to have more trash, at least it's better trash. I don't know. Is there good trash? But ours was better. The thing I didn't realize is that styrofoam makes up 30% of what's in landfills. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't break down. If you were to crumble it up, it's just tiny little pieces. What can you do with it? There's nothing you can do with it. You can't create something else. So it's just going in landfills. And then now we're learning about not just the product, but the chemicals that go to make up this product, how that's ruining water systems. And the other thing we didn't realize is that 25 million styrofoam cups are thrown away a year by Americans. That's just one country. And we're good. We're trying not to do that stuff. If we're the people that are most committed, if we're the country that's most committed to trying to be better as far as being stewards of our earth, what's the rest of the planet doing? I just think it's a small thing. It's such a small thing to just decide we're not going to use styrofoam.